What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So the goal of this video is to basically talk about a really popular topic right now, which is electric skateboards. A lot of people who live in crowded areas, for example, New York, Chicago, they're deciding that maybe Ubers aren't the greatest idea since they're super expensive. Taxis aren't either because they take forever. Riding around in a car will take even longer, and trying to find a bus or something along those lines is not that great. So most people choose to walk. But that sometimes results in basically people being really late to things because they miscalculate how long it will take them to reach a certain area. Ignore my phone, sorry. Anyhow, basically what ends up happening is a lot of people try to find an alternative, and we've had hoverboards, we've had good old, I don't know, those scooter things, people use bikes and so on and so forth. But one of the best possible ways right now to travel in these crowded areas is, of course, electric skateboards. They just make so much sense. They're easy to carry. You can just put them inside of your backpack. Kind of, well, there are special backpacks that you can attach them to. They're not too bulky, they're not too heavy, they go really fast, 18, 20 miles per hour in some cases, down to maybe 6 or 10 if you're not the high-speed type of person. You can maneuver around obstacles, and they're just great in general, so a lot of people are trying to buy them. Unfortunately, a lot of people in these crowded areas simply don't have the cash to do so, so my goal in this video is to try to hunt down the top 5 cheapest ones, and to give you guys the best bang for your buck. And the number one board I found was the Starry board. Now this is actually not released yet. You guys have to wait a little bit, and if you pre-order now you'll get it by April, which isn't that bad. That's like a month. And of course this thing is the best looking one that I found as well, with these slick looking wheels. And of course guys, I'm gonna be getting one to test shortly, so stay tuned for that as well. It's the world's thinnest and lightest, but it can hit 18.6 miles per hour. It's pretty portable, it looks good, and by the way, props to these guys because they have like the nicest website that I've seen one of these board companies have to date. Even Boosted Board doesn't have that great a site. Now these guys, they basically redesigned the board from the ground up. It looks great, and I feel like these guys, as soon as they enter the market, and they're pretty much in the market, but as soon as they fully enter the market, people are gonna love their board. So when you do go ahead and pre-order, their price, this is kind of pricey, but it is at $899. But when you compare this to some of the other boards that are on the market right now that barely go this fast and are much thicker, much heavier, don't go as many miles, and are just bulky in general, those things cost $1,500, $1,600. Why spend that much when you could just wait a little bit and save, I don't know, $600-700 and get this thing instead? Okay, fine, a little too expensive. Let's keep going. So I'm going to compare this with Boosted Board, which is next on the list. Now, although this isn't cheaper, it's another bang for your buck for those of you guys who want it now. I know a lot of you guys are like, yo, I don't have time for this. I need to get something to get me to work right now. Maybe your car broke down, something along those lines, and you want something now. Well, everyone's heard of Boosted Board. They're a really famous company at this point because they pretty much popularized the electric skateboard whole concept behind that. Now, because of this whole premium branding, they do cost a little bit more, but their most cheapest one isn't that expensive. It's $999. So of course, this is the Boosted Single, and it has an 1,000-watt motor. Motor, you don't want that. 1,000-watt motor, and of course, you guys can sort of change things up. They have this special program where you basically pay $88 a month instead of the full $1,000 right up front. It has a 60-minute fast charge, and that's one of the main features of this board, and that's about it. It doesn't go that far. It goes, I think, like 6-7 miles, and it doesn't go that fast compared to some of the other boards. It goes 18 miles per hour. I'm going to show you guys some boards that go 20-25 miles per hour. So this isn't that bad if you want that name brand. If you want something that's super slick and made out of premium materials and only premium materials, then this is probably the way to go. Now, at the same time, this thing has that fast charge, so if you're going somewhere, you need to charge up, you need to go somewhere else, you need to charge up, you need to go somewhere else, and you only have a certain amount of time on you, then of course go with this one, since it does have the fastest charging solution. Next off, we're going to talk about another board. This is probably the most popular board that you guys can find because of its price range. It's at about $699, and it's the most popular board you can find on eBay because of that price range. It goes a pretty nice distance. It's really bulky, and that's one of the biggest things. It is not the lightest skateboard. That is actually a lie, and it's not really a skateboard. It's more of a longboard. Now, at the same time, it is much cheaper. The wheels are really nice, and I've heard really good things about the remote. As you guys can see, it can go up to 30 kilometers, which is one of the main upsides to this product, it can go a pretty solid range. So if you're in the market for something that needs to go a nice long distance without dying, then you are pretty much set to go. Now once it does die, it does weigh 13 pounds, and it does take 3 hours to charge, so make sure you calculate how far you're going. Also guys, another downside is that it takes 4 hours compared to Boosted Board's 60 minutes when it comes to charging this thing, so that's one of the main downsides. However, it has a pretty solid price, $699. So if you just want to try out the Boosted Board and you're not gonna full-fledged go places and you're not gonna use this for work or important meetings or something, and you just want to try it out and see how an electric skateboard suits you, maybe this is a good place to start and then slowly upgrade to a more premium one as you go down the market. They also have an app, and that's all great, and they sort of, in case anything breaks, they have every single part broken down on their site, so that's also really convenient as well, since electric skateboards, so I've heard, break pretty easily, and I'm sure you guys can imagine why. Okay, jumping down a little bit in the price notch. Now this is a really good bang for the buck. However, I'm going to tell you guys the biggest downside with the Extreme Pro right now. It comes from China, which means you guys are going to be waiting a nice long time in order to get this thing. However, it is on sale for $469. Are you going to get the most premium parts? Not exactly. May it break down after a few weeks? Maybe. Who knows? I don't particularly trust this particular product because it just doesn't look trustable, I guess. And so as you guys can see, it does have an 1,200 watt motor. They say it can go 30 miles per hour and has a distance of 15 miles, which sounds too good to be true, right? For $469? Well, guys, when it comes to these type of products, everyone's going to make a knockoff, and this is basically the knockoff. But if you guys do want to try something, and maybe, just maybe, this product's going to work really well for you. I'm not bashing this product in any means. I have not yet tested it, so I can't really. It just, to me, just by reading things, when you compare it to, like, premium markets, and then compare prices, you're like, really? Only $469? How exactly did that happen? So, if you guys want to go with that one, feel free, and yeah, that's about it for that one. The last one on the list is, of course, our #1 choice. Now, this thing usually retails for around $400. However, Magneto is not exactly a low-ranked company in my eyes. I have spoken with their media representatives, and they seem outright like they know what they're doing. They designed a board that's really good, and this is probably one of the best boards that you can buy out there. As you guys can see, right now they are sold out due to their popularity. Now, one thing I will mention is that this thing is the size of a skateboard rather than a longboard, which, yes, makes it a little bit harder to ride, and the learning curve is a little bit steeper. Your comfortability on the board may also be a little bit lower as well. So just putting all those things up there. Now, cool thing about this is the price is really low. It can go to 25 kilometers on a single charge, which is the longest range out of any of the boards mentioned. So if you have to go really far at a really high speed, then this is the way to go. Their braking acceleration supposedly is perfect, but one of the main things that these guys have that none of the other companies seem to have is excellent customer service. So if your board breaks down or something along those lines, something tells me, well, according to the reviews and a bunch of other places that I've done research before getting my own board, they said that these guys have the best customer service. And you guys can read some of the reviews if you guys want. Go take a look on some other sites in case the site reviews don't seem very trusted. But yeah, verified buyer. I trust their site. It seems very trustworthy, and of course they seem like a simple starting out company that just designed something really great, and of course go ahead and check it out. Now, last thing, it is a skateboard rather than a longboard, so that might make things a little bit tougher. So I gave you guys the upsides to all these boards and the downsides, the prices, and of course the exact specifications. So if you guys want to leave a like for me attempting to help you guys out, that would be much appreciated. Go ahead, get yourself a board, see what you think, and of course leave a comment below telling me which one is your favorite. Thank you guys for watching. This is going to be me logging off.